Right now at 6, a mass overdose leads to new demands for action.
This is a new normal for us, unfortunately, and we've got to do everything in our power to reverse that trend.
Also at 6, new video showing a vicious attack on a local business owner.
When you look at the safety issues and stuff like that, it's hard to put a price on safety.
What people on the Central East Side are now doing in the name of safety. Then, survivors and descendants forced out of Portland's historic black neighborhood Sioux. And this evening, there's an update. And later,
when I'm gliding out on my board, I feel like I'm creating joy and creating love.
Much more than a show, as slalom skateboarding takes Salem by storm. Good evening, everyone. I'm David Molko. We begin with new developments in Portland's addiction crisis and city officials demanding immediate changes after 8 young people overdosed, likely on fentanyl, in a Portland park. That is the highest number of overdoses Portland Fire says it has ever responded to in a single call. Blair Best shows us why elected leaders say in an area that is covered with resources meant to help those in trouble, it is still not nearly enough.
For Brandy, every day is a dance with death.
Even for me, I think for all of us that use it, it's exhausting.
She's talking about her addiction to fentanyl.
You know that you have to have more of it. You're already walking a fine line of doing something you're not supposed to do.
She waits to take her next hit in the North Park blocks on the corner of Northwest Cooch and 8th. The same spot police say 8 people overdosed on powder laced with fentanyl Monday morning.
Some people have a romance with the idea of it. And, you know, they want to flirt with that, with disaster.
Something she's been doing in Portland for 10 years.
I saw somebody die every day for like, 10 days straight.
Police don't know if any of Monday's victims died, but say Narcan was used to revive them. A life-saving drug Brandy never goes without.
You can get it at any of the pharmacies.
Now, where this mass overdose happened downtown is in an area that is surrounded by homeless resources. Right down the street is Central City Concern, and about a block away is the new Behavioral Health Resource Center. And there are many more, but none of these places offer immediate help for people struggling with addiction. Instead, they point them to the 2 detox centers in Portland, which, as we've told you before, have lengthy wait lists.
The only people who are coming in that situation are your first responders, and we are wearing them thin in a way that is undermining safety in our entire community. We got to do better.
But Commissioner Gonzalez believes real change will come from a more aggressive approach on prosecuting drug dealers.
We've got to do whatever we can upstream to prevent people from overdosing, from preventing access to fentanyl and meth so easily on our streets.
Those on the streets agree.
You want to solve the drug problem? Get the damn drugs off the street.
Drugs that have become a thorn, piercing through the heart of the Rose City.
If you got people dying from dope, they need to be charged with murder.
Okay, Blair, wherever you stand on this, I think most people would agree the status quo is not working in some form. We did hear the call for action there. So what concrete steps are leaders taking?
Well, David, last week, Multnomah County commissioners voted to spend more than $6 million on emergency detox beds, and they also agreed to start planning for a sobering center downtown Portland. And Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler is also sounding the alarm today, calling these overdoses horrific. And he says Portland has run out of time when it comes to stopping the flow of these deadly drugs. He also adds that he's working at the state and federal level to come up with short and long-term solutions. David.
Blair Best in downtown Portland there with the sirens going off behind you. Thank you, Blair. Let's get to your headlines now, starting in Lake Oswego this afternoon, where 2 people are hurt following a head-on crash that closed Highway 43. One driver has serious injuries. The other drivers are described as minor. Fire officials say one of the cars was an electric vehicle and it caught fire after impact. Crews say the heat electric cars' batteries generate makes fires like these harder to put out. That's why it took longer there to reopen that road. A Vancouver man has been convicted on numerous charges related to his involvement in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Prosecutors say 43-year-old Mark Anthony Brew went to Washington to try and prevent the 2020 election results from being certified. Brew is a self-proclaimed sovereign citizen and member of the far-right Proud Boys extremist group. He was among rioters who overwhelmed police barricades and was seen inside the Capitol. Brew was convicted on 7 charges, including civil disorder and obstruction of an official proceeding. He will be sentenced in January. Tonight, we now know the name of those involved in a deadly shootout with police over the weekend in Polk County. This apparently started when an Independence police officer tried to stop a car for a traffic violation. Now, after a chase, investigators say one of the 3 people inside that car got out, ran, and shot at officers. They returned fire, hitting and killing 18-year-old Isaac Osegeda. Polk County Deputy Mike Smith was wounded in the shooting. He is now on administrative leave. And students at Tualatin's Hazelbrook Middle School have returned to class. A bomb threat at the school forced an evacuation on Friday, and on Monday, classes were canceled. The FBI and police investigated and said the threat was, in the end, not credible. The school had extra security around campus today. They say that was out of abundance of caution. Matt?
Thanks, David. We'll start out a little fall color because, man, they're really starting to pop around town. This is from Tualatin. Todd Klingler sending in this picture. A great combination of the light in the sky and the color on the trees. And boy, there's a lot of light in the sky right now, and there is in the 7-day forecast too. This is Newport, clear sky out of the coast, 57 degrees there. This is Washington County, Reserve Golf Course, sun about to go down a little bit, 67 degrees. So we warmed up nicely today, but it's going to get even warmer in the days ahead. In fact, we've got 80s in the forecast. Our average last 80-degree day in Portland in the fall is the 28th September. We have surpassed that, of course. Our latest in the year for 80s is October 21st. Don't know if we'll match that, but we're going to be a little bit later this year for sure. And then last year we had a record number of 12 80-degree days in the month of October. So yes, we can still get warm, even though we have rolled on into one of the cooler months and the beginning of the rainy season, really. So here's what we've got for the headlines. Morning fog tomorrow, no problem. That'll burn off. East winds develop Thursday. That'll help the warming, get us into the 80s for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and near 80 on Sunday, David. So some really great weather on the way.
Thank you, Matt. I want to get to some new video this evening that shows an attack on Portland's Central East Side. This started, David Ranella says, with someone trying to break into his car outside his produce business on Sunday morning. You'll watch here as Ranella comes around the corner of the vehicle. Here it comes and hits, he says, that woman with a baseball bat. You see the pair struggle. Ranella eventually ends up on the ground. The bat ends up in the suspected thief's hands. In the video, we also see 2 more people arrive on bikes. Ranella says one of them waved a gun at him, and then a police officer on the far right here on patrol arrives. Ranella credits that officer with saving his life. 31-year-old Claudia Atkinson now faces robbery and assault charges along with a man who was arrested. Ranella recovering in the hospital tonight. His injuries include 5 broken ribs and a punctured lung. Want to bring in China Green now on the Central East Side. China, this is the latest example of crime in that neighborhood. Sounds like neighbors there have a new game plan.
Yeah, that's right, David. After ongoing issues in this neighborhood, we have learned that private security will be coming to Central East Side. And you know, we spent the entire day talking to people who live here, who work here, business owners, and they really hope that this truly makes a difference. Now, it's Central East Side Together that is making this all happen. The group was formed in 2019 and is one of Portland's 3 enhanced services districts, which provides cleaning, safety, and enhancement services beyond what the city provides. They announced the hiring of security firm Securitas as the district's new safety provider. As a national security firm with offices in Vancouver, Washington, Securitas will double its staff in Central East Side for an initial 60-day period to help reestablish a safety presence in the area.
We really want to make Portland, you know, what we want it to be, and we're just really excited that they're coming back with some new methods to help us do that.
With a 15-minute response time, Securitas will prioritize presence control, de-escalation, and chaperone services for people going to and from their cars or public transit. The security company will start their patrols on October 27th. 10 safety ambassadors will work in different shifts overnight and throughout the morning, and then after the 60 days, it will go down to 5. David?
China Green on the Central East Side. Thank you, China. Coming up on the story, we are talking about water and more specifically how to stop wasting it, with irrigation districts across the West losing between 30 and 70% of the water meant for farms. Cale Williams is here now with a preview of an effort in Hood River. That's a pretty big number, 30 to 70% there.
It is, David. A lot of these irrigation systems were put in place more than 100 years ago, and many of them consist of open canals that are kind of just dug into the hillsides. That means a lot of water seeps into the ground or evaporates before it can even get to the fields. So many irrigation districts have started trying to modernize their systems, closing up their open canals and installing hydropower systems too. Steve Pappas, who manages the East Fork District in Hood River County, he said saving water is good for farmers, but that's just half the equation.
We need a happy balance. You know, they need water to produce the food in their crops, but we also in turn need to make sure we're keeping a healthy ecosystem with the fish and the habitat, and by modernizing our system, closing it off, closing up canals, it all works in harmony together.
But like just about everything else, these upgrades don't come cheap. We'll tell you just how much they cost and show you what a fully modernized system looks like coming up at 6:30 on The Story.
I imagine the infrastructure is endlessly complicated as well.
Yeah, and like I said, not cheap.
No, thanks, Cale. Looking forward to that. You're watching KGW News. Straight ahead at 6.